Okay, order of operations with decimals. It's the same as it is with whole numbers. You just make sure to follow the decimal rules. Okay, you still do parentheses first. We still don't do exponents. And then it still works multiplication and division in order from left to right, so they can flip-flop. Addition and subtraction in order from left to right, so they can flip-flop. Next is GEMDAS, grouping, which is parentheses and brackets. We still do those first. Exponents we still don't do. And then multiplication and division, addition and subtraction are done in order from left to right. Okay, the rules that you need to remember, though, is that with addition and subtraction, you're lining up the decimals. Line up the decimals, fill up the holes, and then add, as usual, bringing down your decimal in the same place. It's all lined up. With multiplication, when we multiply decimals, we line up the numbers without the decimal. Then we place the decimal in the problem, solve it like we would a normal multiplication problem, and then put the decimal in the answer. So, for example, if I'm going to multiply 54 hundredths times 3/10, I'm going to line it up 54 times 3 without the decimal. Then I'm going to place the decimals, 54 hundredths times 3/10. I'm going to multiply. 4 times 3 is 12. 3 times 5 is 15. Plus 1 is 16. We don't do anything with the decimal until we've finished all the multiplication. So if it's a double-digit number, you don't do anything until you're finished. Okay, now I'm going to look at my problem. This decimal has 2 places behind it. This decimal has 1 place behind it. So that is 3 decimal places. So in my answer, I need to go over 1, 2, 3 decimal places. Okay? So however many decimal places are, that's how many places you move in your answer. And then last, we have dividing decimals. We move the decimal to the top of the bar, add a 0 up to the 3rd decimal place if you still have a remainder. After the 3rd decimal place, we leave it alone. So let's look at an example. What if I have 26 and 5/10, and I'm going to divide it by 4? The first thing I'm going to do is move that decimal up to the top. They should be lined up. 4 can't go into 2, so I'm going to look at 26. 4 goes into 26 6 times. 6 times 4 is 24. And then we subtract. 6 minus 4 is 2. Bring down the 5. Okay, so far we're good. 4 goes into 25 6 times. 6 times 4 is 24. Subtract, and I have 1. Okay, so I have a remainder. Okay, in division of decimals, we can't have a remainder. I've only gone 1 place behind the decimal. So I can add a 0 into my dividend and bring it down. 4 will go into 10 2 times. 2 times 4 is 8. Subtract, and I get 2. Well, I still have a remainder. I've only gone 2 places behind the decimal. So I'm going to add 1 more 0 and bring it down. Now, 4 will go into 20 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. 20 minus 20 is 0. So that would be my answer, 6.625. Okay, so we can add decimals to the end to keep from getting a remainder. If you end up with a remainder and you've already gone 3 places, we just cross it out. We don't do anything with it. Okay, if you have a whole number, let's say 8 divided by 9. Okay, well, I know 9 won't go into 8. So I have to add a decimal and a 0. Okay, that decimal does not change the problem. It is still 8. So we're just going to extend it, and we'll say 9 will go into 8 times, which is 72. Okay, so now we're going to subtract. That becomes a 7, and 0 becomes 10. 10 minus 2 is 8. Okay, we have a remainder, so we're going to add a 0 Bring it down. All right. That's still going to be 8. 9 times 8 is 72. Subtract. 10 minus 8 is 2. All right, we've only gone 2 places, so we can go one more. 0. 8 times 9 is 72. Subtract. We still get 8. Okay, so here's what I was talking about. Our answer is 888 thousandths. We've already gone 3 places past the decimal, so we just leave this remainder and we don't do anything with it. So this would be our answer. Okay? All right. So let's look at some order of operation problems. Okay? All right. Let's try 5 4/10 plus 3 2/10 times 7. Order of operation says we're going to do parentheses. There aren't any parentheses, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to multiply or divide. In this case, it's going to be multiply. 3 2/10 times 7. So I'm going to come over to the side and do 32 times 7. And then add my decimal. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 3 is 21. Plus 1 is 22. I have one number behind the decimal. So in my answer, I need one number. So that's going to be 5 4/10 plus 22.4. So now, all you have to do is add. So I'm going to do 22 4/10 and 5 4/10. Fill in my hole and add it up. 4 plus 4 is 8. Bring down my decimal. 2 plus 5 is 7. 2 plus 0 is 2. So my answer is 27 8/10. Okay. Next, let's do 26 5/10 divided by 4 times 3. All right. So on this one, there's no parentheses. There's just multiplication and division. In order from left to right tells me that 26 5/10 divided by 4 times 3. From left to right, it tells me that that division came first. So we have to divide first. Well, we've already solved that a while ago. 26 5/10 divided by 4 is 6.625. So I'm going to just put 6.625 times 3. So I'm going to come over to the side. I'm going to do 6.625 times 3. Notice I wrote it with no decimal. Now I'm going to go in and place that decimal in between the 6's and solve. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 6 is 18, plus 1 makes it 19. And I have a decimal with 1, 2, 3 numbers behind it. So I only have one decimal, but it has 3 places. So we're going to go 3 places and place my decimal. 19.875. So 19 875 thousandths. Okay, one more. Okay, let's look at this one. This one's a little different. So we've got 4 1/10 plus 5 2/10. Okay, we're going to solve this one first because we're doing order of operation and we do parentheses first, also from left to right. So 2 plus 1 is 3. Bring down the decimal. 4 plus 5 is 9. So now we have 9 3/10. Parentheses 4 times 2. Well, if you look, there's no sign between these parentheses, is there? Okay, parentheses are like numbers. When you have a number in a parentheses or a letter in parentheses, or when you have 2 sets of parentheses, all of them mean to multiply. Okay, so without saying it, they're saying it, there's a multiplication symbol between them. Remember the dot, when it's hanging up in the middle, means to multiply? Well, that's what this means. So we're going to put a dot there. 4 times 2 is 8. So now it's 9 3/10. We'll put an X this time, times 8. So 93 times 8. Now place my decimal. Okay. 8 times 3 is 24. Now we have to do 9 times 8, which is 72, plus 2 makes it 74. We have one decimal, one place behind it. So 74 4/10. Okay, so today I'm giving you your assignment this way because y'all don't seem to want to get your work done otherwise. And I need to see that you actually know these steps. So here's your first problem. Number 1. Take the time and work them out. The lines tell you how many steps you should have.